Something's happening, but
There we
you'll
go.
never know.
That cable, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebookers. Thanks for chilling a second and looking at our faces while I plug that wire in. That's an important wire. Yeah, the checklist changed since we got different cameras. Anyway, you don't need to know about that. I'm starting the stream on RadioVegas.rocks. That's who you mentioned. Yes, yes, yes.
With any of our wonderful sponsors.
The sponsors. Yeah, that's the rest of my thought. You mentioned to our sponsors RadioVegas.rocks. And then, yeah, good stuff happens to you. RadioVegas.rocks is the magic.
RadioVegas.rocks.
That's the magic phrase. And when that occurs, then you can get 10% off at Naked City Pizza, which has now got a location in the Cortez. Anyhow. That's right. It's Greasy Conversation time. And, like, there's an actual title screen now and your name's on it.
Oh, no.
Yay. Whee. I'd aim it at you, but there's a... I didn't think about that.
Okay,
anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's episode 21. Bobby Pesti's here. Welcome. It's one of those situations where we talk about all the things that you might need to sound cool to your friends throughout the next week. Get ready. We've even got these people here that are excited about you. You hear them? Half these people might have died by now. Like, we don't know when this audio file was made of these people clapping. It might be like a bunch of ghosts. But nevertheless, there they are. There they go.
But they could also see the future, and they knew that Bobby would be here today, and that's why they were clapping.
Yeah,
Forever.
you can feel it. So that's the submarine of knowledge. So we're going to go deep diving today. We have hella bonus news for you. Yeah, you're getting the special fortune of more than the average amount of magical news for you to enjoy. And a dog. You're holding Gizmo right there.
Ah, Gizmo. I used to have a dog, Gizmo.
He's a cool little guy.
On.
All right, let's jump right into it. Start off with some good news, some positive news, right? That's what we always like to start off with before we dive down into the
Are we?
into the trenches. I mean, it's no, not really.
Like, is it really positive?
No. This guy in Tennessee
I knew it.
got arrested on felony charges. And I love the article here. It says, after appearing to dip his testicles into a container of salsa that a customer had ordered online.
We're going right into the fire.
Yeah.
It's salsa dipping
All right.
time immediately.
So he's a delivery driver, and he recorded it. Well, okay, I don't know why news articles have to do this, man. Allegedly recorded and posted the video on it, saying this is what you get when you give an 89-cent tip for an almost 30-minute drive. You get testicles dipped in salsa. And so eventually someone reported it, of course, and then the police busted the guy. But the unfortunate news is that that customer totally ate that salsa.
Yeah.
And unless there's like a division of the police that, like, you know, tracks that and like barges into people's house and they're like, don't eat the salsa. You know, I don't know. We should have played Where's That From? Where did that happen? But no one would have guessed that. It's always like Arizona or something.
Where was it? I don't know yet.
Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
Yeah, of course.
Oh. Tennessee, of course.
Yeah.
Like, no, of course. They've been out of it for a minute. Full credit to Tennessee. You've been off our radar for a little bit. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so testicle dipping.
Yeah, I mean, is that really the way to go about revenge? I mean, couldn't you just like bitch about it to someone?
Well, I don't know. How much was the order total? Was 89 cents that insulting, or?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they don't go to. Yeah,
standard?
that's a good point. Like, I mean, if it's like a $10 order, $15 or whatever, like, you're gonna get stiff sometimes, man. It just comes with the territory. Some people are shitty tippers. That's just life. You
first
know?
Response was like, "Hey, that's almost $1, man. Lower your standards."
Right? That's 1/20th of a 20.
Yeah, man. You almost got a double cheeseburger.
Right? Yeah, no, that's. But I mean, still, like, if you get stiffed, or if you get stiffed.
Stifford.
Can't talk all of a sudden. Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes with the territory. Like, some people are shitty and they don't respect it, and you get shitty tips. Like, just it sucks, but
Do you want a beer?
If you got a water or something.
Yeah.
I mean, just how it goes, I guess.
Now, what if that salsa? Wait, I've got a point.
All right, okay. Waz was on a beer run. He's coming
Got a
back.
thing
All
to
right.
say.
What if the salsa was that good?
That you eat it anyway.
Yeah, like what if the person was like, no regrets? That was a great meal.
What if it made it better?
Oh man.
They have to do that every time. They have to hire him back just to do that.
It's the secret now.
I'm the dipper. Call the dipper. The salsa. It's subpar. We need a dipper.
Right. Oh man. That's pretty great. Like the salsa's either so good that it's great even when testicles are dipped into it.
Little dipper.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and then you just call it the Little Dipper and Big Dipper for the orders. Yeah, I like that. All right, we're on to something. New product. I like it. All right. We got where does this happen? Yeah, okay. We can guess where this happens. It's off the radar.
Wait, hold on just a sec.
No.
Where did this happen? Behold. Learn.
So this
discover.
is just where we try to guess where something like this would happen. So city, state, state's fine, whatever. If it's another country, I'll tell you guys, but it's in the States. So Robert Brandel, 60 years old, was found tied up in his truck. And he was found by officers and told them that he had been abducted by 2 armed men a few days earlier. But police were, of course, suspicious when he was clean-shaven and perfectly calm telling them the story. Usually when you're abducted, people tend to freak out.
Yeah,
so,
it takes a lot out of you being abducted, supposedly.
You would think so. Unless it was like a really like the most polite abducting of all time. It's like, oh, I'm really sorry we have to do this, man. Like, but you gotta come with us. You kind of owe someone some money, and he wants it back.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, just come on. All right. Oh, watch your head. Get in the car. Watch your head. It's not like that. But so it turns out that the police think that he was faking his kidnapping to get out of paying a $50,000 Super Bowl bet that he made in some like online group. So he like made up a couple of dudes who he said kidnapped him, and he kidnapped himself, and tried to get out of paying a Super Bowl bet. So that's Robert Brandel for you. Where did this happen?
Where did it happen? Is
Yeah.
this another Florida?
Nope. It's not the usual suspects. I'll give you that clue.
It's not Oregon.
It's not Florida or Arizona. I'll give you
Oregon's
that.
been hip lately for craziness.
Yeah.
No, it's none of the Dakotas.
Nope.
That's been a move.
No, you're off.
Michigan?
You're way off. Nope, way off.
Wow. New Mexico.
Mm-mm.
Connecticut.
Oh man, that's closer, I think.
Rhode Island. That's not very high chances.
Nope. Close.
New York?
Yep.
Ah!
After 20 guesses, yeah. Buffalo, New York is where this clever con man resides.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's I guess the scheme to like get out of paying a debt, I guess. But you have to have someone help you. Like you can't just like fake kidnap yourself and like tie yourself up. Or you can be like, oh, I just got kidnapped, but I've been sitting here the whole time. I guess you could just climb in the trunk and close it. But, like, that seems like a really, really bad idea.
Especially because cars have a handle in there now. It's like glows in the dark.
I just don't get, does getting kidnapped give you a get out of bet free card?
I
with,
guess
like,
that's what he
on time,
thought.
Like, it's in the fine print. Like,
Yeah.
if you get kidnapped for over 48 hours,
Yeah.
you don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
That's a law.
how does he get out of, like, owing a debt anyway?
Like, you already sent a guy. He already kidnapped me.
Yeah,
So you don't have
right.
to send another one.
Yeah, like the next guy
It was
shows
Mike.
up and he's
you
like,
Mike got over here.
he's like, no, I was already kidnapped for that. They already roughed me up and everything, man.
Yeah, that already happened.
Oh man, just silly. The lengths that people will go to. Like, how is that a good idea? Or anything like that.
Well, I mean, I think it started, it was like a pathway of not the best ideas.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea journey. It's like a multi-pack of bad ideas.
The chain of ideas that led there is will forever remain a mystery to me. Let's like back. I mean, when I was a young scamp and got into trouble, and I was in this like rehab for a while, and it was like one of those free rehabs run by Salvation Army, whatever. But dudes in there were crazy. Like, rather than just like stay in rehab for 6 months and wait it out and get free food and like not really have to do shit, these dudes were talking about like dropping appliances on themselves to get out of rehab, because like it was so shit. They were like, yo, all right, you gotta help me, we're gonna like fake drop this appliance on me, like I'm still gonna get a little hurt but not as bad as we make it look, you know? Like that kind of shit went on all the time. I think people are just like to concoct crazy schemes to get out of trouble when they get it. So
That's a move.
yeah, I guess so, man.
You get to be the guy on the sticker on the soda machine. Like, that's you. You're the soda machine tipper.
The faceless guy that's
Yeah.
like pushing against it.
My favorite is there's these electrical boxes. I saw them on the East Coast. I haven't seen the sticker here, where there's a dude getting knocked over by a bolt of electricity, but the bolt of electricity has like an angry face.
Oh, we
It's
used
like
to
a
have
ball
those.
of yeah.
We used to have those
It's all,
out here.
"Grrr,
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's like the angry spiny monster lives
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
Don't let him out.
Angry lightning, yeah.
He's so mad.
Oh man.
He was happy in there. You disturbed him.
It's I wonder if like just people who get jobs that like are designing those things, they're like, man, I fucking hate this job. I'm just gonna do whatever. Like I saved this. I don't know where it is now, but I was on this plane one time, and those little foldouts with the instructions, you know.
Yeah, I always
And they're all-
take those.
and they're
I
all just
assume
like
the next person doesn't.
they're all
use
just like
that bad.
picture instructions of like, you know, grab the oxygen mask, all that. But this one, it was weird because there was this Willy Wonka character. It was a dude in a purple tux with tails
Yeah!
and a purple top hat and a cane, and he was like leading everyone off the plane, like at
And
the
he was
emergency
just drawn
exit.
like everyone else, like he's just a normal guest you can expect.
Yeah, it's like totally like, yeah, if you get in a crash, like Willy Wonka just appears on the plane and like helps you out.
Yeah, he's like a leader. It's clearly how they represent the leader.
Yeah, it
So
was-
find the leader among you.
Find
He'll
the
be
purple
dressed
guy.
dapper.
Yeah.
He'll have a cane and follow
Yeah.
him.
Just like crazy. I don't know.
That had to be Southwest.
I don't remember. It was so long
Because
ago.
I've
But
definitely seen that also.
yeah, it was really out of place because most of them are pretty like stock and just normal looking, and then you always find that one you're like, what the fuck is this guy in there?
And it's clearly like the Willy Wonka. Like, it's definitely him.
Yeah, it's totally Willy Wonka. Yeah. Or I don't know, if I had that job and you just hated it, you know, it'd just be like, just throw all kinds of crazy shit. Like everyone's animals now. It's like the plane's full of animals. All you guys are animals.
That'd be adorable. It's all anthropomorphized animal guests in there. Get the same job done.
Yeah, why not? Why not? So, all right. Wait.
Speaking of which, the government shutdown thing happened and like no planes blew up. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think it was actually a strike. Like the air traffic controllers were like threatening to strike, and then they were like, "Oh, can't have that." So, and I think TSA agents, like a lot of people, were starting to strike, and the airports were getting really, really fucked up,
Yeah.
just like backed up. So, it wasn't a good idea all around. But, you know, whatever. I don't. But that's the thing. Like this one seemed to have an impact, right? Like as far as letting people know what the government actually does. Because it feels like the government is just this like ethereal thing we all think about, and you're like, oh, the government, like the government shut down. But anytime the government shuts down, it's like shit goes on normal. You're like, yeah, some people are furloughed, they were government jobs, but what do they actually do? And
Like
then-
what broke? What
Yeah,
in our day
exactly.
was not going to function?
yeah, and you're like, well, how long does the government have to be shut down for there to like some shit to start hitting the fan? And that was, I don't know why this time it seemed like it happened a lot quicker, but
Well, it was the record for the longest one.
that's true.
And
Yeah.
It was a partial shutdown, but it was partially people that we noticed.
Yeah.
And that's terrible to go a month without pay, even if you get the back pay later. That's tricky to navigate.
Yeah, right. And there's still some like TSA agents that are like waiting for back pay.
Yeah, and how do you trust that if you can't trust like a government job? And
Yeah, it's supposed to be the safest job.
yeah. And
Yeah, it's really
meanwhile,
like a gravy job, you know.
the days when you'd work for a corporation for your whole life, let alone even 5 years, are long gone. There's like no corporate loyalty anymore. But then on the other hand, I mean, you probably, from the corporation standpoint, lose people that are just hangers on, and you can stay fresher or whatever. But it's definitely a different environment with different social needs for us from our government when we can't count on long-term jobs anymore.
Yeah. And all right, so I think we're gonna dive deep into the political news, but this is something that came out of Michael Cohen's testimony before the House
just a
committee
peep
hearing.
Of it, because I know
yeah.
it can't be a main format for us because it's not funny enough.
Yeah,
it gets just
and
angry.
Man, I mean, yeah, politics is fucking draining. I get it. Like, trust me, I'm a political junkie, and like.
But we gotta have a taste of this Cohen thing.
Yeah.
We gotta just nip on this a second.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, Michael Cohen was like Trump's personal lawyer / fixer for about the last decade, and was recently, he got busted for lying to Congress the last time he testified. And so now he's going to prison for a couple years. But anyway, he came back and testified to try to make things right and clear his name. Whether he's, being authentic, I don't know. Not for me to determine. It's not what I'm here to talk about.
But the delicious part is all the remorse, though.
Yeah.
That he said, like, this all happened to me because I lied for Trump.
Yeah.
And anyone else still lying for him could end up just as in prison as me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
His
finally had to
closing
bail.
statement was pretty, like, stark. Yeah.
Because he hit the wall, assuming that the president of the United States would have his back as long as he kept lying for him. And, like, lo and behold, no, you can't just count on that title if the
Right.
person having that title is going to betray your ass.
So this is
Or can't even cover for himself.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that came out is that there was this, it was in 2013, there was this art auction in the Hamptons, right? And it was for like these portraits of people, and Trump's portrait was one of them up for auction. So of course, because it's Trump's portrait, it has to go for the most amount of money. It has to be the most expensive portrait that was auctioned. So they devised this scheme. This guy who is a character in himself, Stuart Rar, who would call himself Rah Rah, or the #1 king of all fun. Number one. All right. Anyway, so they devised the scheme with Rah Rah.
The #1 king of fun.
Yeah, the #1 king of all fun.
All fun.
All right. So he's going to be a straw bidder for Trump's portrait, right? And his job is just to make sure, just to bid Trump's painting up so that it's higher than everyone else's, because Trump's was the last portrait bid. And so he does this. It goes up for $60,000, and then the Trump Foundation reimbursed Rar for the purchase. But it's just like that amount of like narcissism to be
Yeah.
like, my portrait has to be the most expensive.
Even if I'm spending my own money to
Right?
make
Yeah,
cost
I'm
this
buying
and
the
this thing.
portrait, but I just
What
want,
an investment. We'll see that back for sure.
I just want everyone to know my portrait is the best. Just crazy, man.
Oh.
Yeah. And then this Rar character is a character in himself.
That's the best part. All this story is worth it just to hear about this fella existing.
He would just send out like mass email blasts to like every celebrity that he had in his email list.
I have to
And-
see his picture.
Yeah, and then eventually he like got divorced from his, because he's a rich guy also.
Oh, don't tell. He got divorced. I wonder.
Yeah. So he got divorced, and the wife took like $250 million. And so he kind of went off the deep end, it seems, and he started sending out this sex tape of himself to like various people that he knew. Just like, and he says, I was in France, I was single. That's it. That's his
Man,
explanation.
he's so boring looking though. Like, let's look together. It's not impressive.
What? No, he looks like the kid, dude.
He looks kind of fun.
He looks like the king of like at least one kind of fun.
Yeah, looks like he might have some fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
I need to have another monitor aimed at you next time, but you're really missing nothing on this tan bald fella.
Just average white guy.
Very, very ordinary looking. Like, he looks like he'd sell you a truck. He
Yeah.
loves selling you a truck.
Well, he also looks like one of those midlife crisis guys.
Isn't he in Big Pharma? Isn't he like Pharma's King of Fun or something? Or did I just
Yeah,
see
no,
another
he had like a
headline?
pharmaceutical company. That's what it was. Yeah.
Super fun pharmaceuticals.
But no, he looks like one of those midlife crisis guys that are like the really deep tan,
Yeah.
and they got the open shirt and
He
the
looks
gold
like he's
chain.
a decade into his midlife crisis.
Yeah, and
It
still
just
in
never
crisis.
ends.
Still crisising.
Yeah, that's the fun. The crisis is the fun.
Yeah, we're on this mad rush of throwing news out there right away, some of it at you, but feel comfortable to dive in. And also, was there anything that you discovered this week that you felt like or hoping that we'd bring up?
No, not really. I've kind of spent the last couple of months avoiding reading too much of the news, to be
How
honest.
particularly fun that we can be like, all
That-
right, we'll hop in our submarine.
That's
Let's see if I
been
remember
like-
where the submarine is.
That's been where I've
One-
sound effect. No, that's it.
Sorry, go on. I was hoping to find the submarine.
Yeah,
Never
that's
mind.
been where I've gone to. I'm like, I want to completely avoid the news, just because it seems so crazy, right?
It's gotten so unproductive.
Yeah,
Like
that's
there's
a good
so,
way to
like,
put it.
Like even CNN. I used to use CNN as my base point of like, okay, here's what mainstream American news is talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and it all. It just there's nothing actionable. You're not learning anything that you can do anything about.
Yeah,
It's just another article about like, here's how Trump is a fucked up asshole, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's news to me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
nothing anyone
it's
who
all
hasn't
just, like,
been alive
opinions.
in the past 25 years doesn't know about the guy.
Yeah,
It's like the
yeah,
guy's
that's
a
a good point.
career jackass.
Yeah, yeah, totally. No, yeah, that's like, cable news shows are totally just like, I can't deal with it anymore.
I love when there's great science news, though, and especially psychology news. They're really like, oh, that's why some people are like that, or like, oh, that's why I feel that way
Yeah,
when the
that
sun
stuff
is like
is
this.
fun.
Yeah, that
when
type
that's
of
in the
news is
feed, that's
great,
great.
yeah. But as far as like the normal news that we're like accustomed to receiving pumped into our eyeballs.
Yeah, or even something like about a space probe or something like. There's nothing actionable
Yeah.
there, but I'm seeing my species
Yeah,
progress.
there's stuff that's badass.
Yeah, there's stuff we're learning. There's stuff we're gonna learn. That's exciting.
Or like,
New planets.
what's the big?
Hella new planets.
There's all that new. I don't know if it's economic controversy, but it's the semiconductor industry.
Yeah.
Like so many of these companies are like on the verge of failing because the technology's become so cheap to produce
Mhm.
that it's like NXP and I think On Semiconductor's in trouble. And that's like really niche, nerdy. You're either an economist nerd or an electronics nerd or like both together.
Yeah, but I think when it's framed right, the general public can get excited about it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, as long as Intel's been making chips, we've got Moore's Law, which was named after someone at Intel, about the processor power doubling every 2 years.
Yeah, it's just totally logarithmic until you get to like what is it, like 2004, 2005, and Pentium's like, oh shit.
And then it got that's when they saw the end of the tunnel, and then 2014 is when they were poised to move from the 14 nanometer processor to the 10 nanometer process, which just means the chips, like a pixel of what makes the inside of the chip, is smaller. We can make smaller parts inside the chip, but they hit this wall with it, and they were depending on that for all of their Moore's Law increases, and they just could not get this process to work reliably.
Yeah.
It was during that same point that there was a lot of issue. People were starting to get disillusioned with solid state drives not lasting longer than hard drives, and then Samsung busted out their 3D NAND technology, which was just stacking the fellas, but they went back to a bigger process.
Yeah, they found so it's a larger piece of silicone, but they're like, you know how you do it? You stack the silicone.
And all the little bits that all the little gates in there are physically larger, so they're more reliable and interfere with each other
Yeah.
less, and they're tougher, and then they're just stacked in there. And to us, looking at the chip, it's the same thickness. You
Yeah.
can stack 1,000 of them and fit them in there. It's really little shit.
It's all like 10 microns thick or
Yeah.
something. It's
You're
like, you
right,
can't
yeah.
I
see
think they
that.
went all the way to 14 or 17 for those. They went way bigger than trying to mess with the 10 nanometer. But don't quote me on nanometer processes. It's just relative.
I
But,
think
yeah.
it was 10.5 nanometers once.
But yeah, I think that's the extent of the news I've been following terribly. Well,
Yeah.
and then that ties into like colonial relations in Africa, because that's where all the large mining operations are for all of the elements that produce the semiconductors, and that's why the Chinese are so obsessed with getting in there, and why we're backing the French in Mali, and no one really talks about it. It's just happening.
That's
Oh,
so
damn.
interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that was
That's
put
heavy.
together.
Yeah, that's why like China's just going over to Africa and just building like hella infrastructure for
Yeah.
free.
Throwing money out there.
Because they want Africa to be their China.
Oh,
like
yeah.
we did for China.
Yeah, they need
That's
the
literally
raw.
it.
They've got a middle class now. They've got the infrastructure to manufacture, and they're like, you know what? We don't want to do this mining shit anymore.
Yeah.
Let's just do what the Americans do and go to Africa and just not talk about it.
And then they want to use Africa and India for manufacturing, and get in there before we dominate India for manufacturing, like we're already starting to. But we're so focused on building semiconductor stuff in Asian countries that we're like taking India for granted for everything but like tech support and social tech stuff, assuming that they'll, I don't know, it's like they speak English just as good as people from Asian countries, but we just lean on that. They've got this tech support history. But meanwhile, they can pop in and be China's China and make a lot of stuff for China, and China can evolve into more design oriented and be less manufacturing instead, especially while they're laughing at us when we've got a presidency trying to talk us into going backwards to manufacturing again, instead of encouraging design and strength, while we've had European countries like Germany and Italy just kick our ass in design, like historically, because they figured that out long ago. Well, we're like battling it, like, no, we've got to still have our manufacturing jobs. The dumb people can't design things. We gotta get
I think there's like there's this happy balance, because it's like there's an incredible, like, rare earth element is a complete misnomer. Rare earth, it just, it's only like 5% of the Earth's crust. It's like that's a shit ton of the Earth's crust.
We're not running out of silicon.
I think 2.5 hours south of here, there's one of the largest deposits of, I can't remember if it's cobalt or chromium or whatever, but it's this like huge treasure trove, and we're just not tapping it. And it's like, I don't know if there's environmental concern or something legitimate, or if it's just private land that they don't want to put a mine on, but it's like there's no need to exploit like ex-colonial holdings in like Zaire, or I guess that's Congo now. I grew up a long time ago. Democratic Republic of Congo. But yeah, that's been trippy to me, because that's, you know.
Have you heard about more products coming out with GaN instead of silicon? It's gallium nitride.
Yeah, because they were like, we can work around the temperature coefficient, like, because that's why we got away from germanium and a lot of the other elements, because it's like, oh, it's just, it at room temperature it does great, or it does good enough, but you get, you know, for every 10 degrees Celsius over that, it just becomes wildly unpredictable. So we moved to silicone, which is a lot more stable, and with the lower voltage stuff working now, lower currents, lower voltage, you know, it doesn't get as hot, it's not dissipating as much power, so they're starting to go back and look at these other elements that we threw aside in the 60s. And they're like, you know what, now that we're not shoving, you know, 150 milliamps at 35 volts through it, you know, it's at 2.5 volts and like a couple of picoamps, it's actually incredibly stable. So yeah, let's rethink that shit.
Did you know that there's actually some products on the market that use GaN, gallium nitride, instead of silicon or germanium?
Really?
Yes. So we're aware of germanium transistors being in products because they're still made for boutique audio things. Because of having like some harmonics happen in their amplification that are pleasant and stuff like that. But the new GaN stuff is in a charger adapter by Anker. If you're familiar with Anker, they were kind of known as like a generic Chinese brand for battery packs and stuff, like USB batteries and cell phone accessories, but they've kind of become a name brand to be like a known brand on Amazon and such, by having some like cutting edge dongles for the MacBook Pro. They were like dongle leaders, and fancy USB batteries where they're like, okay, we'll charge more than the cheaper ones, but be a notch cheaper than all the American name brands. So that's Anker. And now they have these laptop chargers that are for laptops that charge with USB-C, and tablets that are just like 2 amps or more. and they're the size of little 1 amp ones. There's a video, I can't remember if it's The Verge, someone like that busted one. Yeah, it was The freaking Verge, and they opened it so ghetto. They're like, do we grab the prongs and twist? And they just popped off. Like, well, no, you could have opened this in a way that you could have used it still. They're like, afterwards, like, okay, we're going to try to fix this now. But they opened it up, and the circuitry inside looked like any circuitry would normally see. It was just smaller. They were able to be more power efficient in a smaller space by using GaN silicon not GaN silicon, GaN instead of silicon for the semiconductor. And probably like I want to guess it's just one of those, not bucket brigade, those voltage regulators that aren't the linear kind that's in everything now. That I was gonna.
Oh, they're like not like the not the TCL series or the OS.
Yeah, not the
old school linears.
Yeah, not the 78, 79 series stuff. But it's the same kind of. It's probably the same kind of regulator that's in like the 12 to 5 volt fellows in your cigarette lighter thing in your car.
Oh yeah.
That are. I was gonna be fancy and remember the term for that kind of regulator, but I forgot. But it's irrelevant anyway. But yeah, so it's smaller stuff made out of something other than silicon.
Other stuff.
Whoa. Yeah. Let's go in the vault. There's a vault of it now. One of these is a goddamn submarine. I'm gonna find it. No, it's the steps. Whoa, it's like a door of a submarine. Hold on. This is the one. No, that's the planes.
Do Red October.
I promised myself I'd label them, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, we're never labeling these.
Come on, you guys. Submarine time. Come on. Oh, you know what? It started. I started with the submarine. We're learning and growing together.
Yeah. I think we got
It was. Here we go. Okay, get ready.
All right.
Now it's really submarine time. We're gonna appreciate it. It's funny. This is like the first one we did to start the episode. I like got past the submarine. Like, where's my submarine? You had enough submarine. Is what they're saying. Like,
we've gone crazy with submarine power.
Yeah. Jay says hello in the chat.
Jay, what up? Want to do our first all breakaroo?
Yeah. So you mentioned wanting water. And unfortunately, I can't find any water in the fridge.
Damn.
But one thing that we do have, thanks to these people, is cold cock whiskey.
Cold Cock, American Herbal Whiskey, a proud sponsor of Radio Vegas.rocks. Enjoy responsibly.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's repeating. Okay, here we go.
Dangerous. Who is it? Brandon and Michael Jones, that's who. Michael Jackson Tribute Extraordinaire is starting something and is ready to entertain your wedding, party, and event. As seen on Moonwalker and Legends in Concert, he is bound to thrill your audiences. Contact Diana, 708-539-0161 for booking info. 708-539-0161. Brandon Michael Jones, Michael Jackson Tribute Extraordinaire. Contact Diana, 708-539-0161 for booking info.
Yeah, all right. So there's one that we haven't heard that we're looking forward to this one. Let's see what happens.
Let's face it, every once in a while, we all need a little help. A call to the bullpen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have I got a product for you. Rick Knucklecock here to tell you about an exciting new product called Spunk Lube. Yes, Spunk Lube, the all-water soluble lubricant that'll help you perform in the bedroom. Yes, Spunk Lube. You can use it to loosen pickle jars. Play a game of Hide the Pickle. Hide the Pickle. Use it to grease your ball bearings. Do you have a squeaky back door? Squeaky door. Need to glaze a ham? Or how about frost a donut? Frosted donut. Yes, Spunk Lube. And boy, do I have an offer for you. If you call now and mention RadioVegas.rocks and order 3 jars of Spunk Lube, you get 2 for free. They often say 2's a crowd, but 3's a party. Spunk Lube. Visit us at spunklube.com.
Okay. Shout out to Dan. I'm looking through the ads I can grab for our show, and I see one that says Rick Knucklecock. I just immediately disqualify it. And Greg's like, no, veto.
We gotta let it run.
It stays.
Yep.
Yeah, and then, of course, lo and behold, it's Dan. Of course, it's Dan. Spoiler alert. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you. The Rick Knucklecock is Dan. But it's freaking Dan. Anyway, if you want to catch Dan, he's often on the radio, the Rockin' Comedy Show. Rockin' Comedy Show is a flagship show of Radio Vegas.rocks, which is the station you're listening to right now. You can .com it. You can get the app. We've got a new app for Radio Vegas.rocks that lets you get extra discounts with sponsor time, like Scratcherly style. Particularly right now, Naked City Pizza with their pepperoni cups. It's a good time. Oh, you can't see me. Title screen time, and we're back. All right, welcome. You're listening to Greasy Conversation, and we're on a submarine. We're on a goddamn submarine. All right.
Yeah. All right. So this
Once
is
I find it, I never lose it.
right. This is a subject we always, we always come back to because it's kind of fun.
Is it Arizona? Is it about Arizona again?
No. It's about
Okay.
flat Earth.
Ah!
The flat Earth movement, right? It's fun to joke and like make fun of people, but. And it kind of is, because it seems like a silly idea to some people who, it's just how it is, right? Most I'm pretty sure like all the things in space are spheroids,
Yeah. It's a round place out there. It's
Yeah,
roundish.
it's a lot of round
very
things.
Mostly
round.
round things.
Yeah. So this documentary on Netflix takes a deep dive into the flat Earth movement. It's called Behind the Curve. If you haven't watched it, I would suggest you do. So if you plan on watching it, don't want to hear any spoilers, it's not really going to ruin it for you.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil too much.
Yeah, I mean, you can guess how this ends, right? But the great thing about this documentary, right, and it follows a couple characters who are kind of like the leaders of the flat Earth movement. And there's some people in there who want to take a scientific approach to the vast flat Earth conspiracy. Like, who was behind the round Earth, right? The lie. That's what we all want to know. But anyway, they decide to attack it scientifically, which I commend them. Science has been a pretty great way of discovering things, I'm pretty sure. And so a couple people decide to perform some experiments, and we'll break them down and have a little discussion on them. So the first guy, he's like, okay, if the Earth is round, and it is rotating at 1,000 miles per hour, and it takes the Earth 24 hours to rotate, that would mean that in 1 hour, the Earth should rotate about 15 degrees. So how can we measure that? So they get a gyroscope mounted to a surface, doesn't really matter. And if the Earth is rotating, the gyroscope will tilt 15 degrees, right? So they try it with some like cheap gyroscope, and they're not really satisfied with the results. They don't really go into it, right? So someone in the movement, they don't really say who, buys a $20,000 laser gyroscope, the same one they use on the space station, because they want to be as precise as possible, because they know that the results of this experiment are going to prove that the Earth is flat, that it doesn't rotate and all this, right? So they conduct their experiment, and what do they find? Of course, that the gyroscope reveals that the Earth has rotated 15 degrees. Well, exactly. And now let me remind you, that's how the process of science works. You come up with a hypothesis or an idea, and you say, I'm going to test this thing, and whatever, and the result will either prove that true or false, But this is beforehand. They said, if this is the outcome, it will prove that the Earth is round, right? So they know ahead of time. And then even though they get that same outcome, something must be wrong with the equipment.
Well, of course.
So then they encase, I can't remember what type of metal it was, but they encase the gyroscope in some type of metal container to eliminate any interference, whatever that means.
Yeah. Any interference by the roundness of the Earth.
Yeah. And then they conduct the experiments again and get the same exact result. So then they try a different metal, and they're still waiting on that. They got to get the metal, and by the time the documentary was being filmed and all that. So that's experiment 1. And then experiment 2 is basically like over a large body of water, there's one person on one side, one person on the other, and there's a few posts or something in between, like pieces of wood that are the same length. And you imagine a little hole carved out that go all between, the same level through all pieces of wood, right? So if person on point A, person on point B, if you shine a laser through the holes, it should appear higher than the person sending on point A. And they did this experiment, and they tried it with a laser first to beam a laser through these holes, and then on the other side it was so far away, like the end of the laser, or the projection was like huge, so they couldn't accurately measure. So they got a different method. They had one person on the other side with a light, one person on this side with a camera, and they would just view the light through the holes with the camera zoom, right? It's pretty much the same. And they said before the experiment was conducted, okay, we're at 17 feet, so the person on the other end is going to hold the light at 17 feet, and if we see the light, that means the Earth is flat. If he has to raise the light to 23 feet for us to see the light, that means the Earth is curved, and they state this before the experiment is conducted. And so you watch these guys, and like he's looking through his little camera lens, you know, and he's like, okay, shine the light, and he's like, I am. He's like, what are you at? 17 feet. I'm not seeing nothing. Raise it high above your head. And so as soon as he does that, they see the light in the viewfinder and like the little screen. And he's like, oh, this is interesting. Very interesting. But of course, something wrong with the experiment. So anyway, that's just like like the rest, it's really interesting to get into the mindset of these people who believe this, and it's, you know, and there's some like scientists and psychologists interspersed giving their like thoughts and ideas about it, and it's mainly about like, you know, is it really a big deal if people believe that the Earth is flat? Well, not like generally, not really. Like you can believe what you want even if it's not true, if it doesn't really harm anyone. But like the extension of that is like, well, you're really like making a huge error of judgment, you know, and that can leak out into a lot of other places. Or like, what if someone high up in the government, like, if not that, I don't know if Donald Trump believes in a flat Earth, but any president believed like, just like there's a huge anti-science kind of movement in the current administration, you know what I mean?
Or a pilot. I've been saying that you shouldn't be, I mean, say you believe the Earth is flat, or if you say it's your belief or whatever, you can't operate with that as your belief. You can't claim that you're sure the Earth is flat and get a pilot's license. I think that should be.
I could see that.
Like certain scientific things that like people's lives are in danger if you're miscalculating the state of reality, you're just disqualified. Like you can't. You can believe whatever you want and operate that way spiritually, but you're flying this plane as if the Earth is round. Goddamn it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some base rules.
Yeah. You're on round Earth mode operating this vehicle.
Do they does the documentary go in, because I've always wondered, what's the motivation behind believing? Like, why even
friendship, having a community?
Yeah, it's one of those like the Earth is round. No, it's
getting
not.
to feel special.
Why? What is that thing that's like
you get to know something special?
It's
you get to be special.
Yeah, it's like a community, you know, that I feel like people can relate to. Like maybe they just have a general distrust of like scientists or that type of authority.
They just hate NASA.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Yeah, they
and
didn't get into space camp and they're bitter to this day.
Yeah, like it never goes in. Like I wish it would, but you can there is like a community and camaraderie with these people, and they're all really like close and tight knit, you know, and they're trying to find out who's really behind the conspiracy, like why. And that's one of the questions that like no one can ever answer is like, what's the motivation for the people like perpetuating the lie?
Yeah, why would that? What's their payoff?
Yeah, like what's the point? Like,
there's
that
whole other side of the flat Earth, and it's totally all ours.
Yeah, right.
We're not gonna tell anybody it's there.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I was like talking to one, and I'm like, if the Earth was flat, like we would just confirm that scientifically and go about our day and be like, okay, like planets are flat.
Cool, who cares?
Like planets round, planets flat. I don't care like what it actually is, just as long as we all agree that like it's that thing. And
yeah, no one's like winning because of this round Earth. They're making all this round Earth money.
Yeah, there's there's no round Earth lobby or anything like that. No, and it's really interesting because there's like a little splinter in the community, and like one of the guys kind of goes off the deep end and starts attacking other people who kind of took up the movement when he didn't really follow through, even though he was the originator. And it's really interesting taking a look at, and some of these people get really close to like having that self-reflection that maybe they're too deep in on this conspiracy. They get so close, and then it just goes. It's just like, just like a near miss, man.
Well, you can see the sparkle at which they like one of the people in their head close the blinds on the rest of the people in their head. Like, nah, you didn't see this.
Yeah, they were trying to start a fire with the two rocks, and they just can't get it. You know, it was yeah.
Like someone in there is actively blocking, like putting its hands in front of the eyes of the other ones. Like, no, we cannot. What you want to be lonely? You will not. that round Earth's a lonely Earth. We're not going there. Which is sad, but I mean...
Well, that's what, like, even one of the guys says, like, the guy who's kind of, like, the leader, the figurehead of the movement at the end. He's like, you know, he's like, well, I've, like, alienated, like, a lot of my old friends and family, and he's like, you know, what do I do if, like, I don't believe this anymore? He's like, you know, where do I go? And it's, you know, that's kind of another layer to it, too. You've, like, ostracized yourself from a different group of people, and that's all you have left too.
Now we need a support group for like fresh
recovering
rounds.
Flat Earthers.
Yeah, the new rounds. The young roundies.
Hi, I'm Bobby. It's been 30 days since I realized gravity works.
Damn. Yeah, there's man, so many things wrong with it. But
I still remember the day I borrowed my father's binocular scope. I don't remember what those things are called. Anyway, I went to the beach, and I watched the ships, and I watched them sail off in the distance, and lo and behold, the bottom of the ship disappeared before the top did. And I thought, what's rising out of the sea and blocking the bottom of these ships?
yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, I mean, the explanation for like how reality is kind of, I guess it's kind of like unbelievable at times. Like, yeah, we're on a giant rock floating through space that's circling a giant burning ball of elements that's like just circling a bit, like everything's circling bigger things, you know. And it's like, really, is it really that unbelievably big? Like, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
you know, we're just
and there's bigger stuff. It's not even the biggest one.
Yeah, we're just like a tiny little speck, you know. And like, yeah, it kind of sucks, and like, I guess you can be like, wow, we're really small, and what's the you know, what, but none of that really matters, you know. But to like the ideas you have to come up with to like disprove that the Earth is round are like so convoluted.
Yeah, because this isn't like a recent discovery. This is,
yeah.
I mean, you had the Phoenicians, like because the Greeks took it from them. So the knowledge of the circumference of the Earth, we've known that within like a couple of miles.
Yeah.
For like 4,000 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're like, not only is the motherfucker round,
we know how much
it's
of it there
this
is.
far around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really close
It
measurements.
spins this fast.
Yeah.
Like these aren't new ideas.
Yeah, like the dude figured it out by like measuring shadows from like an obelisk in 2 different locations. Like,
Yeah, and he was like,
he's like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's really interesting, but you know, and they go into a few different characters, and like some of them are just like pretty normal people. They just believe the Earth is flat, and there's a vast conspiracy hiding it. And then other people that are like totally off their rocker and believe like every conspiracy theory that is out there.
oh yeah,
Everyone's a
grab
lizard.
bag.
You know, yeah, just like everyone's a reptilian and all kinds of shit, you know.
It's the motivation that's always confused me.
Yeah, me
it's like
too.
there's so many things that, like, there are things that suck. We know, we have a pretty good idea why they suck, and you can do a little bit to make it suck less. Like there's political realities, economic realities,
Yeah.
social realities.
Yeah.
You can spread awareness to some of these.
Yeah,
that people
why
don't
are
all
you
know.
why are you inventing stuff? It's like
Yeah.
I have
There's
I don't-
actual conspiracies.
Yeah, it's like, and then why flat Earth? Why not just Bigfoot? Why not just be like, I want to meet Bigfoot?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? That doesn't
Yeah.
hurt anybody.
You're not
like,
miseducating
It's not
anyone.
a conspiracy. It's just, I think there's a Bigfoot somewhere. Or
And you
I
could
believe
go
in aliens.
camping
it's way more
and like
harmless.
look for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like, that would be fucking great.
Yeah, just make a weekend out of it.
Yeah. Like shit, I'm gonna go do that now. Yeah, no,
it's just it's the like I don't get the motive. Like
We bring up such a good point that there's so many other things you can put your energy to that really do require more awareness, and really more people waking up to could make them more controversial and more on what you vote on your politicians for, and make it something that they have to stand up for you to get voted for. But these things get buried and they can do whatever when that's not on people's minds. There's actual conspiracies that we know hella happened, from like the Cuban whatever to the other thing.
Yeah,
the
it's
assassinations.
just
There's
like,
all kinds of fun
it's like there's
conspiracies that we
things
can
that
really enjoy.
Like in the early 2000s, the National Security Agency, like all of these documents, Freedom of Information Act, they have to disclose certain information in certain time periods, stuff like that. And it became public knowledge that the Gulf of Tonkin incident that got us escalated our involvement in Vietnam, if it wasn't fabricated altogether, it was grossly over-reported to get boots into Vietnam.
Yeah.
This became public knowledge,
yeah.
and it didn't. I don't even think it made it in the New York Times.
It wasn't.
And it's like that's pretty big
crazy.
news.
That's
It's like
huge.
that's 60,000
That's been a
American
conspiracy
lives
for a long time.
Yeah, that's like-
and now that's history of how it happened.
Yeah, that's like
That's a major
4
update.
million people dead in
Yeah.
6 different countries, and like, but it's.
You know, 60s, sir. You know.
What are we gonna do about it now?
Yeah, that was underreported. I feel like a lot of news agencies didn't have a lot of confidence in the American public about what science news they'd get excited about too, from like barely trying. For example, we know tons more about what's inside the atom, and everything that we've discovered with the LHC, with the Large Hadron Collider, a lot of it's been like, okay, a day of casual news, and then like, okay, we'll stop talking about it, sorry, as if there's a bunch of people yelling at them for talking about it. And like, no, a lot of people come and ask me, a lot of people are talking with each other, and they're having to Google stuff, and that news could have been there if they just report on it a little bit more. It would have gotten some hits. And it's like they're afraid to lose the waves of hits that they get from the junkies.
Yeah, from the
feeding
crazy stuff.
Yeah, they feel like they've got to have a certain amount of junk food on the menu that... and just a splash of salad just to keep people off their backs, like McDonald's style.
Yeah.
Rather than just fleshing it out like Jack in the Box. No, I'm just saying.
When it's like there has been a lot of stuff because it's like quantum physics, like the fact that there are subatomic particles that can travel within time. Like it's just like I want to read more about it and I can't find it.
Yeah.
Because no one's reporting on it. Like no one's saying, oh well, here's the report and la da la. Like
Yeah, and then you
it's
have,
a
you have to
shame.
like dive into like the scientific papers, and you're like,
Those are
I'm like-
hard and they're dense. But you
Yeah.
find one article by like Inverse or The Verge or something that breaks it down a little bit. Everyday Astronaut. There's a bunch of cool YouTube channels and articles that give it a shot, but they'll do like one. Seeker is a really good one on YouTube. If you look up Seeker, they break down a chunk of everything, and it's really bite sized, and it's like middle school level, all of it. Even like super advanced particle stuff. They'll like calmly, slowly tell you how it is with like colored balls or something. It's so great. Like my
so you got 2
favorite-
soda cans, right?
yeah. It's so they literally do things like that, and so that's huge. But it's something that you have to hunt for a little bit. Like people are still talking about the Higgs boson rather than the Higgs field, which is way more significant. It's like how we still tend to think of the electron as a particle, when it's kind of easier to think about it as a coordinate, where 2 or 3 like where lines meet. There's a point where these things meet, and the shell of the places the electrons exist all at once are kind of wherever it is when we finally measure it, because that's another weird thing. It's not in one of those places until we measure it.
Yeah.
But wherever it is, it's more like a coordinate than like an actual object that has mass per se.
Yeah, and it's like it's a likelihood that it'll be at that coordinate.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't even know for sure. It's just
yeah, it's like it exists as a probability before you measure it, and then it's like it'll be in some place,
Yeah.
and then yeah.
And what's intersecting at that coordinate? Another thing, like the Higgs field. Okay, if things interact with that field, then they have mass, and then they have inertia and gravity and all the things that maths have. But something like a photon that doesn't have mass, that just flies it hits stuff. It still can be blocked by things, but you can't like weigh it because it doesn't mess with the Higgs field. That's so much easier to understand than the Higgs boson or thinking about Higgs as like a particle.
Yeah.
And so like that explanation just was so buried, and I feel like we should all like say hi to each other with that fact. Like, isn't it so cool that we know about the Higgs field? That should just be like common shit. So that's disappointing.
Right. And that the dude like came up with that idea
way before we could discover it. Yeah.
Like so long. I mean, 40 or
like,
50
what
years
if there
ago.
was this field that things were interacting with? And
But
that's
it's
why
really
they're massive
cool
now.
that like he got to see the discovery of what he theorized. Like,
yeah, that's amazing.
before he was like, you know, in the ground, to put it delicately.
Yeah, shout out to Higgs.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
But
Higgs.
I do want to make a comment coming back to like the motivation behind why people believe in like conspiracies and stuff, because this popped in my head. Is sometimes it's like if you don't really believe in like any spirituality or religion or anything like that, like there's someone upstairs that kind of manages things, you know, the world can kind of be a depressing place. Like, we're just animals on this planet that happen to be born during this time, and it may be kind of shitty sometimes, and that's all there is to it, you know. But sometimes it's easier for people to believe that there, even if it's like a grand conspiracy, that there's malicious actors behind the scenes pulling all the strings. Sometimes that's easier to believe than the fact that like no one's in control. It's just like, you know.
That's haunting and
fair.
something to face.
Yeah, so that is like a layer to it.
Gotta stare into the darkness, everybody. Give that darkness a stare.
Yeah. No one is in control.
No one is in control.
All right, let's get on to some lighthearted.
Wait. We have just a quick moment, and then there was another tech thing that I wanted to see.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby knew about it really quick. I haven't told either of you guys. It's a super surprise. Get ready.
Ooh.
Hey everybody, Crazy Jay with you. You know, I get a lot of people complimenting me on my funny t-shirts all the time, and they want to know where I get them. The best place to go is $6shirts.com. That's right, $6 t-shirts. Unbelievable. And they have a wide variety of funny shirts to choose from. Parody shirts, inappropriate shirts for work, whatever you're looking for, you can find it at $6shirts.com. I love the selection, and if you know me, I have an endless supply of funny t-shirts. So you got to check out $6 shirts, and if you get 10 t-shirts, it's going to cost you $50. It's a great deal. I love $6 shirts, and once you get your first shirt, you're going to love them too.
He does, though. Jay, his like whole wardrobe is these $6 shirts, and they're freaking hilarious. And yeah, so they've been a factor for a minute. So I'm stoked to have a fresh ad from them, because I mean, Jay was certainly giving them a lot of business before they're even a sponsor. But hey, here's another like a fresh one that we're diving in some fresh new ads. And hey, if you want to get sponsored yourself, I mean, sponsor us, be sponsorly. If you want to get sponsorish, then shoot us a call. Hit us up on the website of radiovegas.rocks. That's who you mentioned of the sponsors, to get magic things to happen to you, and also help keep our lights on above us, this electrical gladness. And this internet, man, we were able to get the internet faster, moving on up, a fatter pipe. Boom.
In the doggy do.
Yeah, that's the one thing about our pet we do not like, right? Is the mess they leave behind. Hey everybody, it's Crazy Jay. I just want to remind you about our friends at M&N Pooper Scoopers. We don't like to clean up after our pets, but you know what? They do. Let them clean up after your dog, even your cat. That's right, they'll make your lawn a fun and clean, safe place to be. They'll come by weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, heck, they'll even come by one time. Just give them a call, get an estimate, mention radiovegas.rocks, 702-787-7722. That's 702-787-7722. You're not going to be disappointed. These guys are fantastic. Mike and his team do a great job. They're quick, they're quiet, they're friendly. Your pets are going to love them, you're going to love them, and you're going to be glad that you gave them a call. 787-7722. One more time, 702-787-7722. Very important that you mention radiovegas.rocks.
Don't forget to mention radiovegas.rocks. Yeah, I love when there's music that rolls out the end of the commercial.
Then it's gonna get you.
Ah, there we go. Anyway, you're listening to RadioVegas.rocks. Particularly, you're listening to the Greasy Conversation Show that now has title screens. Please water the garden of our new Twitch situation and give us a holler on YouTube also. But then, hey, no hate for folks like Shannon saying hey on Facebook. Hey, it's Shannon.
Hey.
She said, sure don't. You can scoop the poop, Bobby.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what that means.
It has to do with that commercial, probably, about the poop scooping. Anyway, I want to know if you've heard of, wait for it,
Wait for it.
new tubes. Have you heard of new tubes? They're
Are those
flat.
they look like an IC? They look like a 14-pin IC. I think it's.
They
Is
look,
it Roland who's been producing them?
You're super close. They look particularly like a vacuum fluorescent display. So, you folks, if you're not familiar with a vacuum fluorescent display, that's what you used to see on the front of all your VCRs, where it was like a light blue color text, and if you looked really closely at it, there's a little tiny screen in front of the numbers. And alarm clocks would be like this in the 70s and early 80s before they became more LED in the 80s. But Chevy continued to use these displays in their cars for the odometers deep into the early 2000s. So if you own any Chevy vehicles and you've noticed your odometer like glows, vacuum fluorescent display, because LEDs are more sensitive to heat. So the other car companies were using either LCD, which is also risky because it's got to be like a good LCD, or it'll have heat problems. But I had an 86 Volkswagen with an LCD tachometer, not tach, the spinning numbers thing. Tachometer? Odometer. I'm so excited about that. But I can fix a couple things in a car, believe me, you guys, for sure. I just forget what half the things are called. Anyway, so this technology, it was actually Korg.
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 Well,
You
they're
were really close
owned
with
by
Roland.
they're owned by Roland, aren't they?
No.
Isn't it all Roland?
owns
Roland
Boss.
Japan. Roland Boss.
Yeah.
Who's Korg now?
Korg's just their own buddies.
They're still their own thing.
As far as I know,
I could have sworn
unless
they were a
got picked
Roland
up-
company.
It's just
I
they're
don't know.
so similar, right? But I looked it up a few months ago and I couldn't find a real connection. Besides that, they got to be friends or something.
Yeah.
Because
Because it's like every Roland like workstation has a Korg tuner in it. So I was like, oh, they probably bought them.
I just
and were
think they're
like,
focused competitors. Because they have similar fellows, but they'd have too many competing products if they're the same company.
No,
Because
but
they
I
really
just,
go. I mean, look at the Electribe series versus the all the different Roland drum machine series, like the Dr. Grooves. All the different Dr. Grooves that were like direct answers to Electribes and vice versa. Like I have the first Dr. Groove, the 202, DR202, and the workflow on it is so much like an Electribe, but like just a few years beforehand. So yeah, if they're the same company, they hate themselves. But what's crazy about this tube is it's built with the same manufacturing process of a vacuum fluorescent screen, but it's just this little square of vacuum fluorescent time, and it works like a valve in the same way. As soon as the fluorescent part is activated, electrons are flowing and the valve is on. Because like, if you don't already know, folks at home, vacuum tubes and transistors, they're just valves with something connected to the knob of the valve, something connected to the input, and something connected to the output. So a guitar amplifier is basically your guitar connected to the knob of a valve, and the wall connected to the in, and the speaker connected to the out, and your guitar moves the knob a little bit, and then what comes out of that valve actually goes to the handle of another bigger valve, and turns a bigger knob on a bigger valve, and then what comes out of that bigger valve goes to your speaker. And sometimes there's just stages of that. And they're usually separated into a preamp and a power amp stage of little and big, but the little ones will be like stacked, like bucket brigade style. I just want to say bucket brigade all day today.
It's just a fun word.
I know, right? It's totally, there's an electronic use of the word that's not that I'm totally abusing. But I was just thinking about buckets and brigades today. But here, like, take a peep at this. I'm afraid to move this because there's all those things hooked to it. But it looks like a little vacuum fluorescent display, but with just like 2 rectangles that glow on it. So these things are really cool. If you look them up on YouTube, there's a distinct sound. They're not poised to replace vacuum tubes per se. They're celebrated for having their own tone and their own signature. So you can buy them from Korg business to business and build your own pedals with them. And they have developer kits. And they've been out for a minute and haven't necessarily taken off. But I think they're going to be a boutique thing forever. I would love to have it.
They sounded really cool. And the second I heard about it, I looked up how much they were. And it's like, just the IC without the development board or anything, it's like $75.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a little above the price point of I may destroy this thing playing with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
that's a
past
good
my
point.
threshold for playing with it too. But the fact that I could get a development kit and put it in my own case instead of buying a commercial pedal with that already in there,
Yeah.
that's appealing because maybe I could make a studio rack thing and be like, ooh, it's studio rack, like warm up some vocals, for example. Just get some harmonics.
Do they try to like? They're like, oh yeah, it's it's sound reminiscent of a 12AX7 or something. Or
They didn't try to go after a specific tube sound from what I read. I read that basically they tried to get a good... They basically wanted the gain characteristics first. Because they had to... The process of how it's built inside isn't just a straight-up vacuum fluorescent display. They had to go back and forth with the factory that they teamed with and really design a new way of making the insides, but with still the same process and the same machines.
Yeah.
So the same
where,
factory
Where
can
are they
make them.
made? Are
Probably-
these Chinese or like Russian or Japanese?
It's got to be Japanese or Russian because it's all Japanese design, being Korg. But I'm not sure if they're actually manufactured in Japan. But I know that they're using a vacuum fluorescent manufacturer, or they just bought the same tooling. But they had a process to really get the right gain characteristics for it to be a good audio tube, and that was really their focus, and they let it just shine for having its own character, rather than trying to emulate the character of any other tube. Because they probably caught on right away that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just shaped too different. But man, I feel like the way harmonics happen as it breaks up would be excellent for a tube pre, for a mic, for like a vocal mic situation, to just get some more warmth and character, or full on get like a Strokes or Yeah kind of breakup sound.
Yeah, just that like really
Yeah,
crunchy indie.
almost like a BBE or Exciter, I'd imagine.
Maybe. I still haven't heard anybody, like if someone's taken these and started making stuff with them, I haven't heard any of it yet.
I haven't played with any of it in person either, which is a bummer because it's been out a minute. But
Does it like it's fluorescent, so does it need like an input voltage over like 70 volts? Does it need AC input?
It has to have high voltage for the equivalent of the heaters, and vacuum fluorescents function at high voltage anyway. Just they're not very high current. They're pretty energy efficient,
Yeah.
but it has to be hanging out at a high voltage just to get all that ionizing going on. So that much I know. But yeah. So that's a scoop, sound people.
Yeah, I like that. vibe.
YouTubes by
I
Korg.
love all that stuff. Hell yeah. All right, we're going to jump into some more silly, just ridiculous news. All right, I'm just going to read this. It's a quick little thing, and I'm going to leave out the place, and if you guys want to guess, folks at home, play along. Try to guess where this happened. Police say a dispute over crab legs at a dinner buffet ended in a brawl that left 2 people facing misdemeanor charges. An officer was eating at the Meteor Buffet restaurant when a fight broke out. The diners were using service tongs like fencing swords, and plates were shattering, and a woman was beating a man. Johnson says diners had been waiting in line for crab legs for more than 10 minutes, and they lost their tempers once the food came out. The station reports Chiquita Jenkins is charged with assaulting John Chapman, who suffered a cut on his head.
Oh, look
Chapman is charged with disorderly conduct. Court records aren't available to show whether either person has a lawyer.
Neither of them look like fun people.
No, but I mean, yeah, he's grumpy, and she looks like Chiquita Jenkins.
But she looks like she's really like the crab legs were the most important thing she was going to deal with that day, and no one should stand in the way. Like, she looks determined, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, he could have been the asshole in the situation, you know?
Oh, easily. I mean, he doesn't look like. I mean, bless his heart, I don't know him, but he doesn't look like he's not an asshole.
Yeah.
He looks smug. He looks like if I were her and I was determined to get crab legs as much as she appears to be in this photo. Because this is like a mug shot, and she's still like ready for crab legs. Not that she looks hungry. She just looks like she'd murder for what she wants.
Yeah,
which
totally.
I can appreciate. She's a determined individual, and this man just looks like whatever. I don't got legs. You don't got legs.
She almost looks like just that, like, so it's come to this.
Yeah.
All of this over crab legs.
Right. Yeah.
I
He
could see
looks
him being
smug.
the asshole.
Yeah, he looks like he's all happy about his head cut because
Yeah,
it
he's like,
justifies him.
I woke up this morning determined to ruin someone's day, and by golly, I did it.
I got
Right.
a wound for it. I got a battle scar.
Got
Yeah.
my picture taken.
He's kind of smiling.
And it's like,
Picture
it's
taken.
like, and it was probably over like one specific crab leg. Like, he just really wanted one specific crab leg. He just had his eyeball on it. He's like, that's the juiciest crab leg there ever was. And then, you know, she snatched it just a split second before. Man, all hell breaks loose.
I don't know if Ange Kerfoot's listening, and I don't know if China Star Buffet is listening, but I feel like China Star Buffet has like walked the line on this happening to them more than once.
Maybe they just got better PR. They pay to make it go away.
They got some legs just in time. But you go and you charge a different rate for a different time of day because that time of day is the crab legs time of day. And then you don't have any crab legs. You can't expect people to pay the crab leg price.
Right?
just not
That's what
fair.
I'm saying.
Yeah, crab legs are delicious.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
And if people come there with a crab leg expectation and that's not available, that's okay. Sometimes the sea is a fickle mistress. But you can't charge that crab leg price, okay? That's what I'm saying.
Right? Can you imagine though, like the cooks, like where the cooks panicking? They're like, shit, there's a fight breaking out, Johnny.
Send them out raw!
He's like, no, you gotta get them crabs, like crab legs out. Get those I don't care if they're cooked or not. Get them out there. No one cares about the fucking butter. He's like, they're killing people out there, man. You gotta get them out there.
They're straight up murders. This man's bleeding.
Where was this? Where was Kansas?
No.
No.
That's fun, but not right. I mean, this is the game. Guess the state.
Close.
I'll give you a hint. It's towards the middle of the country.
Nebraska.
Maybe too middle. We'll dump it.
You're not
It's-
far off.
Yeah, it's Alabama.
Ah.
Dun, dun.
That was close. Yeah.
I
That,
mean,
yeah,
I
I
had to
guess
say-
that would happen in Alabama. I mean, but like worse shit's happened here, but it's just funny. Like over crab legs, you're like, really? I don't know.
I feel like our opinion of crab legs, prime rib, shrimp scampi, or not shrimp, or shrimp cocktail, it's all terribly skewed living in Vegas.
Yeah, it's
Like in other places, this stuff is a really big deal. Here, it's just like, what are you talking about? It's Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That
no,
stuff just comes in the airport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just
like-
it just
Yeah.
happens.
in Alabama, crab legs are a delicacy. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like we.
Imagine though, you're not near where the crabs come from.
Yeah.
Were they gonna farm them?
Right. Yeah.
Well, they got blue crabs in Alabama, don't they? But see, that's the Alaska king crab is the crab leg.
yeah. Crab
There's
legs
different
are
kinds of
way
crab.
different than the blue crab.
Get those gutter crabs.
Blue
but that's
crabs
like
are
a
all
bite.
like tiny and puny, and like you gotta just chew on the shells to get the meat out. Who wants that?
Wow.
It's gross, man.
To me, they're all insects, and you're just eating bugs anyway.
Yeah,
All
Ocean
lives.
bugs.
They're giant
Get
ocean
your crabs
spiders.
out of here. Yeah.
But they're giant, delicious ocean spiders.
All right.
All right. It's not debatable. Just a fact of life, right? Just
Get
like
out
the
of
earth
here
is
with your
flat,
gross spiders.
crab legs are delicious.
All right. On that note, we have something really exciting next
Yeah. So this
that we
is
haven't chosen specifically.
This will be a follow-up story. So a while back, this scientist in China gene edited a couple babies to eliminate the or to make them immune to HIV infection, right? They used CRISPR gene editing to do this, and there was some controversy about it. The scientist pretty much just got like black bagged in China and like disappeared for a while. And apparently, I don't know if like what he did, what he said he was going to do, and what he did was vastly different, which apparently it seems that's the case. But now they're worried that the two babies may have higher cognitive function, I guess, or
they might have
be
actually
smarter.
made super babies.
They're
They might have
super
made
smart
smart
babies,
ones.
yeah, super genius babies. So
Or
that
at least
movie,
like mild extra genius. Like,
so that movie, like Baby Geniuses, was pretty prophetic at this point. No, so like, and the thing at like during the gene editing, they removed this certain gene, which I guess also helps in preventing infection by HIV. But this gene, when removed from mice, has been found to make mice more intelligent. Whatever the studies are, I imagine they like solve mazes faster because that's like all the studies with mice.
it's a real mad scientist story in that the doctor lied to the parents and told them that they were just getting an experimental new AIDS vaccine. Not that they were literally editing the genetic code of their infants for the first time to have it done to a human. The first time to a child, at least. I don't know if there's been like cancer patients or something with some genes messed with, but as far as I know, it's the first genetically edited folks, definitely the first designer babies. But with CRISPR, you can edit them after they're made. But nevertheless, I think they were edited in the womb, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out he also had this like making them super babies thing. It's one of those things where you ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Because you're like, I mean, would you really have said no to me making your kids smarter?
I
Come
made
on.
your super babies for you.
Sure,
Come
it's
on.
internationally illegal, especially the way I went against it. But I mean, we're in China, so there's only so much
Well, then,
international law gets in there.
How do you ethically test if it worked or not?
I know they have to have another kid, and we see if it's dumber.
No, I mean the HIV prevention.
Oh no,
like
we just assumed.
you'd have to intentionally expose the child to infection to see if the vaccine
Good
or
point.
the gene editing worked.
He probably didn't do anything, so we'll never know. It's not like we're gonna give him AIDS. Just like, of course your kids are smarter.
He just went in there and made a smiley face.
Yeah, the parents aren't gonna be like, no, our kids are super dumb. It didn't work.
They're like,
They'd be
just
like,
go,
"Yeah,
just
of
go
course
have
they're
like
smart."
unprotected sex with everyone you meet ever. Ask them if they have AIDS. If they have it, have sex twice. Like, we give you permission.
For science.
Yeah.
It's not a death sentence anymore. It's probably not fun though. I don't imagine people are like enjoying themselves with it.
Yeah, no. Still not. Although it's crazy like how flippant some people are about it. Like, I used to know this dude who was HIV positive, and like he would let chicks know, and they were like, I don't care, I still want to sleep with you. Like, unprotected. Like, not even like, yeah, okay, I know it's a risk and like protected sex, whatever. They're like, no, I don't even care.
Where is this Clooney looking fella?
Exactly. He must I don't know. He must have something, but
That
you know.
Cloon gene.
Yeah.
You can't cloon the. I don't see any Cloonies with AIDS.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't
All right.
cloon the clooner.
Clone the clune.
Yeah, can't clone the cloon.
This yeah, I'm gonna read this headline, and you're
Wait.
gonna
As you read it, hold on. Behold.
you're gonna wonder why this is actually an article. Masturbating at work is a doctor-approved stress reliever.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the part that it's doctor-approved, you know. But I think that's like, I mean, who hasn't? You know, sometimes you just got to go on a quick 15-minute break and take care of some business. That's how it is.
I cannot express what a relief this article coming to light has been, because I've just been going about my life thinking I'm the only freak that's ever grabbed one at like a lunch break in the I had a rented Ford Taurus once when my car was being repaired, and I could climb into the trunk from the back seat, or like one of those good employee restrooms. You know, you sneak off for some situations, you come back all relaxed, all loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
You know, there's no less pressure on the inside of you. And
Right.
it just felt like a good move. I felt like a boss. But I was carrying this secret shame, you know, just to find out, like, literally everyone I brought up this article with, like, 100% of the people I brought up with, men or women, have been like, oh, yeah, pulled one out at work before. I gotta sometimes.
See, that's where I feel like the weirdo, because I honestly can't remember ever doing it. But I've been like a 2 or 3 pack a day smoker like my entire adult life and some of my adolescence. So it's like,
what if they're more similar
maybe
than
I
we
could
actually
give up
believe?
smoking if I just jerk off at work.
Yeah, hey,
Maybe that's the issue.
Maybe that's the secret thing.
Because I get stressed out and I'm like, I'm a cigarette.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Maybe if that was
maybe
just
I've been
like
approaching the situation wrong.
if it was a little consentical break. if you had a little. Yeah.
I need
know.
private time for 15 minutes.
Totally.
I'll be back.
Have you guys ever heard of Scroller?
No.
Scroller? No.
Scroller with 3 L's? Get ready, because it poops all over Pornhub. Not in a literal way at all.
Poop.
Unless you're looking for that. But no, I don't think that's even available. I've seen no poop on Scroller, but I wasn't looking. Anyway, what Scroller is spelled with 3 L's. Go to you can go there safely now. It's safe for work unless you click the not safe for work button. But it's I'm trying to come up with a fancy show-off word, but a thing that grabs stuff from Reddit that scrolls automatically. So, all right, I'm explaining this retardedly, but you can search through different categories, and it can be stuff like man-made objects or just like cute puppies too. It doesn't have to be not safe for work stuff, but there's a whole section. And it's all these check boxes of all these Reddit
Like categories?
Categories, exactly. Yeah. And you check them off and you just get fresh stuff from those feeds as just a wall of scrolling images that just scroll automatically for you. It just flows past like you're in Back to the Future 2.
Oh, man.
And you can click on one and enjoy just it and click away and it just keeps flowing past at whatever speed you want.
Man, that sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it's such a feed. Or you could go to the actual Reddit, whatever.
Some of the quotes from this article, though, are great. They're talking about, I'm sure they did an experiment on this and to determine this, but jerking off is a really good way to spend 15 minutes. And sometimes it ended up being the highlight of my day. Like, yeah,
I mean,
work.
15 minutes tops.
Yeah, it's gonna be the highlight of my day at work. Yeah, of course. Like anything other than work is gonna be the highlight of my day at work.
I don't know about going to work looking forward to that part of work, though.
No, I wouldn't go to work and be like, oh man, I can't wait to get to work because I'm gonna jack off. No,
I brought a camping stool.
No.
So more comfortable in the
or
stall.
It's just at least, but like you got to be discreet about it, and like some people are just not discreet, or even like on. Not that I've seen people jacking off on the bus, but I ride the bus, right? And but I do see people who just like casually watch porn really nonchalantly on the bus. And like, but it seems like it's a weird thing because they're not just like watching porn and like.
It seems like they're like following the plot and stuff.
No. Because usually like if I was watching porn on the bus, I'd be like posted it like no one's seeing this porn, you know, and like.
Like, yo, check this out.
People just they just have their phone like hella out, like down, like way down, so everyone can see it, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm just watching porn, yeah, no big deal.
I'll share.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, no one wants to see your shitty ass porn. Get that shitty shit out of here. Yeah. Like, at least watch some good porn if you're gonna watch porn on the bus. Your shit sucks. Fucking, that shit's lame, man. Like, where are the fucking costumes? I don't know, you know.
I don't know what these people are doing without costumes.
Like, they're just having sex? What the fuck? You
can
look up anything.
I don't know how anyone even makes babies anymore without a couple costumes at least
right?
involved.
Yeah, you can look up anything, and you're watching people just have sex.
Yeah, it's what the heck.
You can just do that.
Yeah, and they're just like all the way naked. They're not wearing anything interesting.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's crazy. I don't get it. Yeah. There's no food.
What is with those naked people in
right?
porn?
They're not like having sex on a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel really over nudity in my porn. Like, I feel like we've gone so far with, like, okay.
You got to start putting clothes back on for it to be sexy.
Yeah, first they took the leggings off, and now these chicks are barefoot, too. And sometimes they don't even do their hair. What's with this? Like, I want, like, a runway situation. But, like, also they're coming somehow. I don't know. That part we can figure out. But I want some style.
Runway porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just walking around. Maybe there's a nip slip. I'm just like, I want some subtlety like that.
With some class.
Oh, man. Nice. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that reeled us back into PG-13, right?
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
declaring PG-13 still. As long as we don't say the F word more than twice an hour, I think we're still PG-13.
Yeah.
That's a made-up rule. That's not true.
Whoops.
No, that was me.
All
I
right.
initiated.
No, I know you did that.
the distant
I was
drums
just
of
saying
suspense.
fuck multiple times to make sure we're not fucking PG-13.
Well, I mean, we were talking about what if some of our sponsors are like we lose a sponsor because of one of the other sponsors just
And we're
existing.
just like, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry we can't advertise with Cold Cock Whiskey and Spunk Lube.
Yeah.
But hey, they're good sponsors. It's a quality product. If you're going to buy a personal lubricant anyway, it might as well resemble semen.
Why not?
Yeah, it's non-staining, unlike the real stuff.
Boom.
Tastes great, unlike the real stuff.
Is it black light, non-staining?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it shows up.
Like, is
I
it
haven't tested
truly
that.
non-staining?
There's a serious like pump tube like dispenser over there if you really want to play with some. But yeah, coming over to RadioVegas.rocks. We'll give you free. We literally have free samples.
Yeah.
Meet us at an event and I'll give you free samples of Spunk Lube. Also, dude wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, white Viper,
wipes.
dude.
Wait, you know what? It's a perfect time for that.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Is your butt a crudely built birdhouse? No. Then why are you sanding it with toilet paper? Dude wipes have aloe vera to protect your sensitive side.
See? Sensitive.
Come on, dude, take it to the hole.
Dude wipes. Take it to the hole.
Dude wipes.
Not only that, but there's dude showers now. It's like a big dude wipe for your whole body. It's
Do you like
delightful.
put it on? Or,
Yeah.
like,
you,
is it just like a
towel
big
yourself down
towel?
with it?
No, it's like a wet wipe, but like,
Big.
you know, say you're on the run or you're out late partying and you got to get to work and you just can't take a shower. You can just give yourself the old quick scrub down.
Didn't they, like Old Spice did that like years ago? And
Did
it
they?
Never took. Someone did. I remember that. I was in high
imagine,
school.
yeah,
I think.
I'm pretty, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of care that goes into the chemical composition situation. I know dude wipes from the very beginning, and this is like not paid to say this part, even though they're a sponsor. But wait, let's just look at each other for a minute. Okay, they use like aloe and other plants like lavender that are good for your skin, and there's no bad for your skin stuff. I thought I had more details on that, but basically they really put a lot of effort into making it really safe. You can rub it on pets. I promise none of your pets will have a problem with dude wipes too. If you want to wipe pets with them too, that's a secret feature. They don't advertise that, but I mean, my pets are totally wiped good. It's an extra thing, just in case.
Yeah.
And one other thing I wanted to mention real quick. These folks, get ready. Hold on.
Hey realtors, are you looking for a new or unique way to sell that house or property? Bouncing Tiger Studios comes from creator Blaine Childer. How about an idea that you have for a new car or travel commercial? Maybe you're working on a movie that just needs some amazing aerial shots. With Bouncing Tiger Studios, you can get those breathtaking aerials along with some elegant edits with superb direction for that movie, commercial, or real estate property that you're trying to sell. If you can imagine it, they can elevate your production. Shot in 4K. Bouncing Tiger Studios lets you create with limitless possibilities. Bouncing Tiger Studios, they're just getting started. For more information, visit them online at bouncingtigerstudios.co or visit them on Facebook.
And we're back. Hey, do you guys want to know how we got the sound for that commercial? By the way, you're listening to Greasy Conversation on RadioVegas.rocks. Be sure to mention RadioVegas.rocks with any of our sponsors, and you can get special deals. Like, for example, at Pinche's Tacos, you can get, what was it? You buy a, do you buy the margarita or do you buy the, and then you get the taco. You get a, if you purchase a blood orange margarita, you get a free Gringo Loco taco.
Yep.
Or a gringo taco. It doesn't have to be a crazy gringo taco. Anyway, there are these coastal taco situations at Pinche's Tacos that are like bigger than they should be. Like you feel like you did something wrong, or that there's some kind of agreement with the chef that you weren't sure that you made to get such a unusually large taco. You're like, feel like you owe them something. There's some kind of weird social obligation because the food is so big and yummy. And it's like, why did they put all the meats in this one taco? Well, you got the gringo taco, man. It's got it all. It's got all the things you white boys want to put in there. You're just crazy. You don't want these individual tacos. You just want all this in one taco. It's insane. It's like American-style joints. And also the name's a swear word. Pinche's Tacos. They had the bravery to swear in Spanish in their very own title. And the Nevada Bureau of naming your company had no problems with it. It's amazing. You know that Nevada Bureau of naming your company?
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to tell you all where we got that crazy lion sound on that commercial. This situation. Hold on. I think I can take you right to one.
House or property.
Wait,
hey, realtors, are you?
I didn't mean to like do the record scratch on Jay. What I meant to do was, okay, this sound. Check it out. I want you to think about that while I talk about the next thing. So we reported a little while back about a man who wrestled a mountain lion with his bare hands.
Yeah, he killed it too, right?
Killed it.
Yeah.
Killed this mountain lion with his bare hands. This jogger was not taken down. And he got pretty scraped up by it too. I'll show you in a picture in a second. But, oh, by the way, you can't even see us. I still got the title screen. Okay, looking at us. Anyway, so it turns out, and this is not like any discredit to this fellow. It's just crazy, the scope of these things. This 34 to 40 pound animal was only 3 to 4 months old.
Oh, damn.
So it was basically a kitten. And no one's like mad that he killed this kitten. This was a mountain lion, and it was totally killing him for sure. Like he barely
it would have
die.
eaten him. Yeah.
He's got a hand all wrapped up. His face is all covered in claw holes.
Yeah, I don't, if a big ass wildcat is attacking me, I mean, you gotta just like, you gotta try to take it down. Like even like
kitten
regular.
Or not, you're not just doing an age test. You're
Yeah, you don't care. And
you
even
don't put it
like
on the scale.
even like really asshole like just big house cats. Like
you have to discipline them too.
Yeah, I mean you might have to just like fucking knock them out.
Sometimes you have to pin them. Sometimes you have to kick them across the room.
Yeah, you know. No, I love cats, but seriously, like if they're assholes, I mean, they'll fuck your ass up before you can pop them one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, baby mountain lion ain't no joke. But all right, that was like the one piece of fake news I fell for. This was years back. I just came across this article and it was like Joe Rogan killed a mountain lion with his bare hands. And it was like in the middle of the night a mountain lion wandered into Joe Rogan's house and he was startled and woke up and beat it to death with his bare hands. And I was like, I can totally believe Joe Rogan doing that. And it was a satirical website that I'd never heard of before.
I think he had this guy on his talk show though. This guy.
The mountain lion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one though.
Oh man.
Oh, that's our new intro song.
All right. So have you guys ever heard of this game called Plague Inc?
No.
No.
Yeah,
So it's a real-time strategy game where basically you play the part of a pathogen, and your goal is to spread across the entire globe, right? And they do use some like science and pandemic modeling to make this game work, but of course they simplify it to make it fun to play and not just like totally number crunching science crazy things. So, and there's always like a different lot of factors that can play in this game, but recently there was a petition started on change.org to include anti-vaxxers in this game as like part of what's like one of the catalysts that spreads these pandemics.
Well, it's accurate. It just would make the game more realistic.
Yeah, exactly. But the fun, and it's great. And they ended up adding anti-vaxxers as a choice in this game. But the guy who started the petition, usually with the change.org petitions, there's like some explanation or something, and he was just like, anti-vaxxers are dumb as fuck.
That was his whole thing. It's like footnote. It's like change log when you ever get a new update to a piece of software and you're like bored and you're like, okay, I'll look at the change log and see what new features have been added. And it just says anti-faxers. Anti-faxers, that's a thing. People don't fax anymore. Yeah. I'm an anti-faxer. When I get like those e-fax emails, like, who faxed me? I'm not even going to look at this.
Like e-fax? Like, what the fuck are you people doing?
Yeah, who's getting spam on e-fax? Raise your hand. Because Lord knows I do every once in a while. People love to fax me.
Right.
I'm a fax
I just
magnet.
think it's like it's kind of funny. I don't know. I've never played the game, but it's yeah, it is more realistic. But I might play it now.
Yeah, it's funny enough that I want to play it now.
Just to check it out. Once.
Shannon's demanding that you bring some free lube home, so don't forget.
Free lube, okay.
Yeah, we'll give you multiple flavors.
And
I'm just kidding. They're all the same flavor.
We're gonna wipe the dogs down with dude wipes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Scully. Did she bring up Scully like the? I was thinking of the airline pilot. I don't know how that's relevant to anything.
I was thinking of X-Files.
X-Files.
Oh, okay. That was probably a thing.
I torture Shannon. I'm on like the 17th rewatching of X-Files. I'm a huge fan of X-Files, and I just go home every day and I watch 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Because it just drives her nuts because she sits there on her phone. She's like, I want to watch something else. I'm like, you're not watching it anyway.
It's X-Files hour.
Boom. It's X-Files hour.
Yeah, you're like, X-Files?
Then you turn to her and you're like,
rah, rah, rah.
But for real, like, X-Files had some really creepy fucking episodes. And I remember when I was like a lot younger, like the one about the freak family. I don't know what it was, but there was some woman on a bed under a bed.
Oh,
she was
yeah.
roll out. You know what I'm talking, like the circus
one's
freaks?
Perfect, yeah.
Oh man,
she
dude.
come out and they're like,
yeah, exactly. She made that exact sound. That's where they took that sound from, man.
I love it so
man.
much.
Fucking X-Files.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, can I grab an article I really, really badly wanted to talk about? Like,
no.
I totally want to talk about the... Nice. No, this is appropriate. This, like, 11-year-old journalist. Okay. Yeah. No, this 12-year-old girl totally had, like, a realistic journalist, like, run-in with a cop. It was so cool.
Yeah, I heard about that. What's the story with that?
So, in a nutshell, double fact check me on this, but okay, so her dad's a journalist and she took to journalism hella from a young age to the point where there's actually a show being made about her. And she created like a local newspaper of her little town and broke all kinds of deep scoops of like corruption and stuff like this. And it's great. She's killing it. So she went to this one town in this or neighborhood of this town, something like that, where there had been like a mountain lion spotted, and this cop told her she couldn't be there and told her she couldn't film him, and was just kind of a jerk about it instead of just being honest that like, hey, I'm concerned about you being around these parts because of this mountain lion being free.
Yeah.
Beware, I told you. Instead just kind of usurping authority and being a jerk about it, and she filmed him. And and he got disciplined and stuff, and just got to look like a jerk. And she got to look like a hero.
Well,
journalist.
he was trying to say like, hey, you know, you can't film me or whatever.
That was the main thing, and she knew her rights and knew that it was a law that she could.
Yeah.
And that's great because that's something citizens have done to solve a lot of police violence. And I'm not like anti-cop. I know that that's something necessary, but sometimes it's unfortunately a necessary evil, and there has to be checks and balances on any power or authority situation. So that's part of our rights, and she stood up for it, and that's killer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she sounds badass. Like, seriously, yeah, just look it up. Her name is Hilda Kate Lysiak.
Yeah, in Arizona, of all places.
Yeah, right. No, she sounds like really badass, though, for sure.
Yeah. So shout out on that. And yeah, it was the footsteps of justice.
Yeah. I hope that's like a stinger.
No, I set it aside. It's got like a location now.
Nice. Oh, yeah. So this is something I wanted to touch on last week. We didn't get to it. So the scientists have witnessed the moment when single-celled life evolved into multicellular life. by conducting experiments with algae. So they have a bunch of single-celled algae, and they just let it hang out, and then they introduce a predator, and then eventually the single-celled algae start bunching together.
Teaming up?
Yeah, to
Teamwork.
defend themselves against the predator. So it really, like, sheds some light into early evolution. And it's just another proof that, like, hey, because just like people believe in flat earth, people also don't believe in evolution. But it's literally observable.
I have a quick thought on that. There's also a similar thing that happened when prokaryotic life became eukaryotic life. So prokaryotes are super simple cells like bacteria. Eukaryotes are the ones that we've got going on. Unless I got that backwards. Maybe I'm just saying these backwards. But hey, what's important is that you understand that one cell learned to live inside the other cell.
Yeah.
Whether it was parasitic or some kind of chemical agreement they had, they began reproducing that way. And now the nucleus of each of our cells is another cell historically. And that teamwork led to the kind of cellular specialization that then led to multicellular organisms. And that's another example of teamwork. And then we formed communities and made airplanes and cars, and that's teamwork. And that's the kind of thing that answers prayers. Teamwork.
And
teamwork is God. And then safety
Boom.
and teamwork. It's God. So where's your God? It's teamwork. Ta-da. That's my point.
Nice. I love that.
That's a new segment called That's My Point.
Yeah. And each week in that segment, we discover a new thing is God.
Yeah.
Turns out everything is God.
Or just talk about teamwork every time. Meanwhile, like, just hiding out, not teaming with anybody like some hermit.
Yeah.
Just kidding. On that note, I'm trying to help people stream. I'm doing a stream tonight. Look out on the socials for where to find it. But teaming with people, helping them dial in the last couple things they need to get their streaming to the next level. So I can eventually get this dream going I have of there being multiple places in town that are like streaming venues, even if it's just rehearsal spaces in people's houses. There's a lot of great people in town that converted one of their rooms into a jam space, and they're not about to turn their house into a venue, but it could be a perfect streaming venue. And cool friends and bands and friends and bands and band friends that all know each other can go around and make a little venue tour of people's jam spaces and stream it. Get everyone all streaming, get all this crossing the streams. So I want to help people do that. So hit me up on Facebook Messenger is my favorite way to scheme on that. But if you're against that, then hit me up on any of the channels of the band. There's an email on the contact stuff of the website, waz.lol. And I can give you tips and advice on how to stream better, because you've seen us stream worse, and it's getting tighter every time. So I can share the knowledge with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the horns of knowledge.
Right. All right. So this one. All right. Sometimes we're not gonna guess where this is from. Everyone would guess it anyway. It's from fucking Arizona. All right. So lawmakers were debating on the labeling of certain products. This one happens to be almond milk. And the debate comes from whether we should call it milk, because ranchers have, they have an established product, which is cow's milk.
And they're all upset about all these almonds getting up in their cow territory.
Yeah. And so he says, I believe that words matter. All I'm saying is when you walk up and use simple words like milk, we should know what that's from, he explained. Almonds do not lactate.
Really shocking.
Yeah, no shit,
I had no idea
dude.
what I was buying. I thought that's how almonds feed their young. I've been
Yo,
lied to.
I've been all up on them almond titties.
Now I don't like it anymore.
Like, yeah, so the argument is over whether, like, you should call almond milk. Really, who cares?
Really, it's just anti-competitive.
And milk is shit anyway. Like, milk fucking sucks,
Why are we
man.
drinking this other animal's milk? Why?
Like it
when there's good old almonds around.
I mean, milk. What's your like? Does milk suck?
I can't drink it. So it's like, it sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to feel fancy, like, look at me, I'm drinking this thing. Like when you put cheese on a burger, it's like, wow, I took one thing from this animal and I let it go bad and get bacteria covered and I put it on another piece of this animal. It's like so disrespectful.
But cheese is delicious.
Yeah.
Right?
Why, the disrespect is delicious.
Yeah, that's actually what flavors the cheese.
Because that's what takes the murder of the animal and makes it hatred.
Yeah.
It's like,
you didn't just murder
because it's the milk of the mother.
Yeah, you took the food for its young, and then like you let it go bad a unique way. You just disrespected it further. Then you took the bacteria that was eating it, and you put that on there, and you're just like, oh, it's like eating chicken and eggs at the same time. The whole mother and son reunion or whatever.
Right.
The mother and child reunion.
Yeah,
you could just put an egg on the cheeseburger,
which is good too.
And it's like best way to have a burger.
Yeah. I mean, can you find that anywhere outside of Jack in the Box? Just saying.
Denny's used to do it.
No, that place with the star too does that. That Star place.
The Star place.
The Carl.
Mr. Carl.
Oh, the expensive burger place.
Mr. Carl's.
I just, there's something that Jack in the Box has done for me that I can't. I'm not saying that's sponsored or anything. It's just when I can get breakfast, when it's not breakfast, you just get a lot of loyalty from me. That's all it is.
You can get a taco that's not a taco.
Yeah.
A teriyaki bowl that's not a teriyaki bowl.
But
they're incredible.
Bowl. It's shaped teriyaki bowl-esque. It's just any port in a storm. Any port in a teriyaki storm.
All right, no, I gotta dive into some more of this.
Yeah, we've only got 9 minutes left, so you gotta dive.
Yeah, well, hold on, I want to finish this, right? Because
the
discussion is about, like it's a semantic argument, like can you call almond juice, almond liquid, almond milk, right? And then so they're debating this concept, and the last thing was, almonds, lactate, and so this other representative said, have you ever heard of coconut milk?
Boom.
And he says it could be coconut beverage for whatever reason. And the reason is because he sells milk.
Yeah. Now, did anyone bust out a dictionary to see if the dictionary allows non-lactation forms of milkings? Because, I mean, I've been milked, and it wasn't like a lactation.
Well, so one of them... They kind of got into the debate of like how far down the rabbit hole they're going to go discussing this like language, discussing the word milk. Like, what does milk actually mean? Like, we're going to become milk philosophers now.
Oh my god.
So then they said, consider peanut butter. Is that a misleading label? Butter comes from cows, but this is peanuts. That would seem to violate the same law they're trying to enact to not call almond milk milk. And so it's just it's a semantic argument, and it's fucking stupid. But
yeah,
that's how
it's a
our laws
reference
work.
to the consistency.
Yeah.
Well, it's like American cheese. They have to call it American cheese product because it's not technically
It's not cheese.
Yeah, it's barely even dairy.
It's like a weird paste thing that they make and wrap in plastic.
It's a little yellow square that tastes all right.
Yeah. It's certainly not cheese.
Tastes all right.
Yeah, so that's a thing. That's what our elected representatives are arguing over.
That's the importance.
In some states.
It's just so obviously anti-competitive, and the public obviously knows it's a reference to the consistency. It's very milky. Almond milk is milk-esque.
It's a milk substitute, like
The
for people who
consistency is
can't
very
drink
milk-like.
fucking milk.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's for. I don't get the, I
And
don't
that
get the thing.
coconut milk thing, I mean, I feel like that's from before my time.
Yeah, totally.
I can't tell people what to call something that's been called that before I've been alive.
No, but you can just decide things and then make a law, and then that's how it is.
Done and done.
Yeah.
Industry.
Yeah, right.
So in the last few minutes, I should like set you free to chug through an extra note. I think it's news chug time.
Oh man. Okay, so I wanted to touch on this one. It's a little shitty, but it's like local news. But this illusionist who's been performing, I think, on the Strip for a long time. I can't remember because I can't see it, and whatever. Doesn't matter. But he got busted on fucking child porn charges, and he's going away for 20 years. But the thing is, like, he didn't just get busted for like having child pornography or distributing child pornography. He would have viewing parties at his home. Like, just, man, it's just fucked up. All right. Yeah, I shouldn't even brought it up, man. But like, that's fucked, man. Yeah, it's just fucked up, man.
Hey, things are getting cracked down on. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, terrible shit happens in the world, and you shouldn't like shy away from it, I guess. Confront it, and then, if you ever find someone doing that shit, like slap the fuck out of them. That's my judgment.
Confirm they're really doing it. Don't just slap people.
Or sometimes just slap people when they're taking
preemptive slapping.
Yeah, just if you think they might be eyeing your crab legs.
Jan Reuven. Okay, I'm glad it wasn't someone I knew.
Right.
Because I'm like some illusionist. Yeah. Oh no.
It's like David Copperfield or something.
No. Arturism.
My childhood hero.
Okay, I didn't know this guy, so whatever.
Now he's gonna make the Statue of Liberty disappear forever.
We'll never have it back.
Oh man. No, David Copperfield got wrapped up in a lawsuit a while back because someone got injured during one of his tricks. So he had to he was legally compelled to reveal the illusion in the courtroom, which man, that would be torture.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how magicians work. But I'm sure there's a group of people that develop these illusions, and they're usually really complicated.
And a lot of it was his own millions of dollars put into putting these illusions together.
Yeah, I would, man. That's gotta suck. But I mean, someone got injured, so I guess.
It's kind of cool. It's good. It's good marketing too. I'm legally compelled to reveal the secrets of the universe.
You should have spun it.
Never. I know, right? That's
just let the cameras in. I'm gonna do the masked magician.
Yeah,
right in front of your eyes.
Oh, dude, the masked magician. And there are theories that the masked magician was just Chris Angel. That's my favorite one. It's he was just there to ruin other magicians' career and then come in with Mind Freak.
Yeah, why is it suspiciously no Chris Angel tricks he's revealing?
Yeah, right.
Because Chris Angel tricks just aren't that good.
Really?
I just assume so. I've never seen the guy do magic. I know he's supposed to be a magician, but it's
the original, the first couple seasons of his original show, Mind Freak. He does some good tricks.
I do remember liking that show, and I like that he's gone back to the Mind Freak marketing.
Yeah.
Because he went to this really pretentious Chris Angel believe. Chris Angel forever and perpetuity.
Yeah.
Chris Angel never ending forever. Amazing. But instead just Mind Freak. That's cool. That's that's one of that's blue collar, you know what I mean? Oh, I'll be buddies with a Mind Freak. That's rad. My buddy's
makes
a Mind
him
Freak.
Relatable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm happy he came back around on that.
All
I
right,
gotta judge everyone's marketing.
Right. All right. I don't know if you dove into this one. I didn't really have a chance to, but the scientists make the marijuana compounds in a lab.
Yeah, first time that we've fully synthesized marijuana compounds rather than just distilling them to maximum potency. So things like marinol and stuff, which is laboratory marijuana compounds, still originates from the plant, and then it's a process of purification.
Yeah, it's more like morphine to opium.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah,
that's
from the
a good way to
poppy
look at
plant
it.
rather than synthesizing the chemical. But we've actually synthesized some marijuana chemicals.
So they've made the oxycodone of marijuana.
Boom.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's how strong are they gonna make it? Because really, I mean, how strong do you need pot
Does
to be?
it need to be any stronger?
Fucking Christ, really.
I think it's gonna be like acid to psilocybin mushrooms, where one just seems a lot more clinical.
Yeah. Where it's or they get really precise with the kind of high, even more precise than different strains of indica and sativa with the different terpenes and shit. And it's they get super precise.
And even more, be able to get rid of that controversial high in the first place and still treat things like seizures and.
Oh yeah, and use the medicinal aspects. Yeah.
Give them to kids without the issues of development getting inhibited when someone under 25 is getting a lot of THC involved. It does impede some brain development.
Yeah, that's
where
true.
the brain gets to a certain point around 25 where that development isn't occurring anyway. So there's no more of that side effect.
Maybe we could actually get the weed from Grandma's Boy. Who's always oh, this
you
is
see the devil.
Yeah, this is called Frankenstein because you walk around like this. You can actually get weed like that. That would be awesome.
Is that the devil calling?
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
my favorite movie.
I'm too high to drive to the devil's house right now. Yeah. Fucking great. Yeah, I don't like. I go into the weed store and I'm like, yeah, I just want to get like a cartridge for my pen, and they're like, all right, we have this, and it's like this company just like started. All their cartridges are like 92% THC, and I'm like, why do I need that? Like I don't.
It's efficiency.
Yeah, I don't even care.
Just take a smaller puff.
Yeah.
You get more value.
I can't do that. I have no self-control. They're like 10,000% THC.
Can't you just like mix some more e-cigarette juice with it or something? It's like,
you like water it down?
Yeah, exactly. Just water this down a little bit. Stretch it out.
Yeah. Like I don't need that much. All right.
We've got to call it. Any closing media recommendations? Anything that you want to plug, Bobby?
I don't know. Not really.
Bounty Hunter Brothers.
Bounty Hunter Brothers is a band, and I'm in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bounty Hunter Brothers.
Bounty Hunter.
Yes. I actually was telling, like, I don't know if you guys played at Forgotten City a couple years. It was, I don't know how long ago. It had to be like 4 or 5 years ago now.
We were around
Weren't you like
then?
right out of high school when I first played with you with Rooftop Ridicule? Or is it like William?
I graduated high school in 05.
Okay, I moved to Vegas in 06. So
no,
I'm thinking of you would have had a couple years out. I'm thinking of like 09. Yeah, William though.
I think me and William is like 2 weeks older than I am.
Oh yeah, nice.
So
yeah, I remember I played with him just hilariously young. So I guess you would have been too. Got to see you guys grow up a little bit, barely younger than me.
Watch the Flat Earth documentary. It's called Behind the Curve on Netflix. It's really interesting.
Yeah, bye. Good job, everybody. Good job. Tell your friends. Mention RadioVegas.rocks to all our sponsors, and tell your friends Greasy Conversation. Help everyone learn and grow together. Yeah. Woo. We're learning and growing. We growing and learning. Yeah. Educational time. And there we go.